Welcome to the Derek O'Shea Show, where we discuss culture, news, politics, and more. Sit back, relax, and I hope you enjoy the show. Be sure to tell your friends and family about the revolution. What's up, everyone? I hope you guys are having a fantastic day. As always, thank you so much for joining the Derek O'Shea Show. It means so much to me. You take time out of your day just to listen to me spiel and listen to what's going on. Please share this with all your friends and family. Put it on all social media networks. The only way I'll grow is through you because, as always, the algorithm doesn't care about someone having a conversation about this stuff. They don't want a conversation. They just want you to submit. They want you to take their news and shove it up your butt. But this news story broke a few days ago from the Rolling Stone. Gunshot victims left waiting as horse DeWormer overdoses. Unlike Joe Biden, I know when I say a word wrong. Left waiting as horse dewormer overdoses overwhelm Oklahoma hospitals. And as always in Oklahoma in August, the picture, people are freezing to death in Oklahoma due to climate change or whatever. They're dying due to how cold it is there in August or early September. But this story is being passed around everywhere. A lot of my liberal friends saw this as an opportunity to make fun of conservatives, make fun of these stupid, small-minded people, probably from a small town. They probably are Trump supporters of some capacity, even though Trump, touts that he created the vaccine and touts how amazing it is and took it himself. Whatever, we're just going to just totally discredit that information. We're going to pretend like that doesn't exist. But as always, they look for an opportunity to make conservatives look stupid because we're high-towered individuals. We have degrees, unlike some people like myself who have more than a bachelor's degree. So we're idiots. We don't have logical conversations. We don't know how to engage in academics. We don't know how to engage in philosophy. We're just too busy shoving horse dewormer up our butts and enjoying the day as it is. And this story was passed around. Seriously, I had lots of my liberal friends making fun of conservatives for this, saying, I can't believe all these people are taking horse dewormer. In fact, I saw an AP news article come out saying that in Mississippi, of course, Mississippi is so backwards there. They're just so dumb. They don't know what to do. They're shoving horse paste up their butt and their ears and their eyes, and they're just trying to get away from COVID. They just take the vaccine, for God's sakes. Be like Oscar De La Hoya. Don't be like Joe Rogan. Anyways, there was an AP News story being passed around that poison control was getting lots of calls saying that, hey, there's a lot of people that are overdosing on ivermectin. And I thought when I was reading these stories, my initial thought is always like, this seems way too freaking on point. It's like that one dude that took that hydroxychloroquine, the one guy, and took the hydroxychloroquine from a fish tank cleaner, and he apparently died. And then there was like a weird story that maybe his wife was involved. And then that story just kind of went under the radar. You think that? So I think she's being investigated. I don't know what's going on with that story. That was a weird story, but it was. Whenever you hear a story that's too on the nose, fits the narrative way too much. It's my desires are always is to question, is this real? And wait for information to come out. Because, yes, it could be on the nose. It could be just way too just ironic and just unbelievable, and we need to wait for the information, and it could be true, and that's something we could discuss. But I like to wait. Because I saw this coming out, and I thought, this is too much. But it turns out it was fake. It turns out, actually, the person lied. And the news organizations, it turns out this whole story was fake. And here's, as always, Joy Reid jumping on the bandwagon, just like with most of my liberal friends. I'm just like, tell me you listen to Joy Reid without telling me you listen to Joy Reid. Let's listen.
So things are clearly bad, but they're being made even worse by people who have refused to take the vaccine and instead are swallowing horse paste. The emergency room in one rural Oklahoma town is being overwhelmed by people overdosing on ivermectin, the horse deworming medication. It's gotten so bad that gunshot victims are having to wait to be treated. So things are clearly bad. But
Joy Reid jumping on the bandwagon like a lot of liberals. I'll give it to them. They see his story, much like a lot of conservative pundits do in political media. They see one story, it fits their narrative, they jump on it. So, turns out this whole thing is fake. And as always, you know, you have all these leftists coming out and saying that they couldn't believe this is unreal. Daily Mail jumped on this, Newsweek, Daily Mail, The Hill also jumped on this because The Hill is not as good of I say what you want about The Hill. And here's the Associated Press, embarrassing correction to the article claiming that 70% of calls to Mississippi poison control were ivermectin ingestion turned out to be false. And people are confused. And I feel like I say this every video. I say this all the time. I don't get why people are so confused of why people do not trust the media and don't trust what's going on in politics right now. They want to constantly put this blame on conservatives being these people that are just irrational. They won't have rational conversations. They won't engage in science. They're just totally stupid. They deny climate change. They deny this and they deny that. And it's funny because like a lot of conservatives I know don't deny climate change, and then they put out stuff. They're like, hey, let's do nuclear energy. Let's do these things because they're safer than what's going on here. We don't have to mine mineral and stuff like that. And people are just like, no, our God is wind and solar. That's it. This shows why people don't trust the media. Why people don't trust you when you tell them to do something. And this is why it's important to engage and read information for yourself. Important to not take one story from a news organization. I don't care what news, even me. It's important not to take one news article about one thing and then you have this confirmation bias that goes on in your head, and then you pile on and say, this has to be true because it fits my narrative, and also this person said it and stuff like that. We need slow down in news cycles more often. We have like this perpetuating 24-hour news cycle where things are just getting blasted and people are looking for news stories constantly. People are looking for information constantly, and they want to be on the late breaking news. They want to actually do some sort of journalism. This is why so many networks are so scared of journalism this day, because journalism in most regards is pretty much dead because people don't want to take the time to actually look at information before they publicize it. They're more concerned about getting information out there and getting the clicks and making more money. You might disagree with me. That's fine. But this is why people are hesitant to take the vaccine, because this stuff like this that went on, like when you had Joe Rogan come out and say, I took ivermectin, I took monoclonal antibodies, I took, the Regeneron thing, I took all this stuff, and I feel better after 3 days. And you have Oscar De La Hoya, that's been double vaccinated, is in the hospital right now, and he's an athlete too. Some are saying, well, that just fits the narrative. It means don't take the vaccine. Don't get into the confirmation bias. All I'm saying is that we need to have logical conversations about science and about medicine and about the therapeutics. I'm so tired of reading COVID stories and not hearing anything about therapeutics. Just unvaccinated people are dying, and that's the only thing that's being run. Unvaccinated people, mostly healthy, or children are dying, or it's all death and despair, and everyone's dying all the time. When I just watched college football this weekend, and there was stadiums packed with children, packed to the max, and with adults, and it was just chaos and great. It's so great to see life coming back to normal. But there's people that are still stuck in this last year mindset, and they're stuck in the mindset of only the vaccine is the only way out. No, you need vaccines and therapeutics. I'm not a doctor, but I'm also not an idiot. There's a flu vaccine, but there's also ways to help if you get the flu, like Theraflu and stuff like that. It's weird. You don't have any other disease. You don't have any other virus that you're like not allowed to talk logically about therapeutics use, or like, hey, this worked for me, you should try this. Hey, this I remember when people were telling me when you get the cold, you get the flu, you're like, hey, drink a lot of tea, drink a lot of minty stuff to open up the airwaves. You imagine all the stories people say. Don't say that. Just take the vaccine. That's it. That's all you have, and nothing else. Stop taking horse dewormer. And again, I just want people to know. A lot of people are on antidepressants, and a lot of antidepressants are prescribed to animals. So, this is why people don't trust the news. This is why people are running towards independent creators, because you have stories like this that fit the nose way too much on the head. I still have, the weirdest thing right now is I still have liberal friends that are still touting this like it's real. They're still talking about people overdosing on ivermectin like it's real. Because it's nowhere to be seen. Like, let's go to CNN. And we'll go to MSNBC. They're talking about Afghanistan. They're talking about help wanted signs. Jobless Americans left scrambling after the pandemic and unemployed benefits end. That's right. All these jobless Americans that all of a sudden the unemployment benefits end, they have to like get a job now. The chaos of it all. Imagine being forced to have a job. Imagine being forced to work on Labor Day. God. Former soccer player Jean Pierre dies following 39-year coma. South Carolina attorneys, nothing about it. Weird. They don't even have anything about COVID today. It's because they know people aren't looking at the news as much because they're on Labor Day. No, let's go on to MSNBC. If you love Labor Day, what? I just watched the title change. Don't cross the grocery store picket line on Labor Day. God, I hate. Okay. Kanye's new album borrows some of the worst evangelical trends. This is what a lot of my friends are they're reading this news. Cecil Rachel's Texas abortion ban created a political firestorm across the country. Because you guys are obsessed with abortion. It's the weirdest thing in the whole world. The fight against letting Robert Kennedy's assassin out of prison completely misguided. Then you go down to their daily top stories. New numbers show that shocking impact of racism on Americans' dream still. Why nobody is talking about defund the police in 2021? Yeah, why is no one talking about it? Because it's stupid. Steve Bannon's plan to subvert the democracy is pretty terrifying. Democrats follow rules, the GOP makes new ones. Yeah, Democrats follow the rules and GOP makes their own. God, so sick. The far right is embarrassing the Taliban as its ideas get messier. Oh, far right is embracing the Taliban as its ideas get messier. People read this stuff. The far right is embracing the Taliban and its ideas. What kind of crazy nonsense is that? This is just allowed. Here's who really to blame for Biden's terrible week in front of Supreme Court. Right. It's not Biden's fault that he's screwing up. Americans' ivermectin craze highlights a problem that goes way beyond science. There it is. Finally, one story. Thank you, MSNBC. This is all live. I don't tape. This is live as always. I just want you guys to know I don't write out a script. I don't do cuts on my news. I just one take. America's ivermectin craze highlights the problem that goes way beyond science. Because science has become something that's only top down. You, the individual, are no longer allowed to engage in science. You're no longer allowed to engage in questioning science. You're no longer allowed to engage in your own studies. And this is not good for science. The whole purpose of science is to allow everyone to question everything so that we grow and gain more knowledge. And if ivermectin is the wonder drug, let people use it. But no, we have doctors that'll prescribe it, but then we have pharmacists that won't fulfill orders. It's just the weirdest nonsense. It's the weirdest political nonsense about something. I mean, just imagine if somebody had like headaches and they're like, doctor's like, I'm not going to prescribe that to you. Sorry. It's not been proven. I know that your doctor says you should take it, but I disagree with your doctor. And then people are like, why is COVID-19 so politicized? It's because of the Republicans. Really? That's such an easy, just nonsense argument. Just to say it's because of Republicans and conservatives, that's why? Sure, they played their part. But are you saying that you didn't at all? Are you saying you did it at all? Really? So when you have this news story come out like Rolling Stone and then everyone jumps on the bandwagon and you join suit and it turns out it's false and then you don't issue a retraction or make it a large story like, hey, we apologize. I know this story hit the nail on the nose too much and it was too obvious, and we're sorry for that. Nah. We're all about transparency here. We're all about the science. So when we get something wrong about COVID-19, we try to push it under the rug. I'm tired of media outlets doing that. You know, if I say something wrong, if I say something that's out of bounds or out of control or just ridiculous, because like I said, I don't write down what I'm going to say. I just say it how I feel, and I read the news articles, and then I come up with what I have a general idea, and then I say it. So if I get something wrong, I'll be happy to retract it. I'll be happy to say, hey, I screwed this up. I've been in comments with people who said, hey, you said this, and I disagree with it, and I'm like, I'll look into it, and if I'm wrong, I'm like, you're right. Thank you for correcting me. We don't have that anymore. We don't have accountability. We don't allow thought. We don't allow people to change their mind. We don't allow. This is such a weird time to be alive. It's like right now, I just know that if I get COVID and I want ivermectin or Regeneron or anything that's not the vaccine, I'm worried that I won't be prescribed things. Or if my doctor says, hey, I think you should take this, this, and this, and then I try to go get it filled, and the pharmacist says, I'm not fulfilling that because that is right-wing conspiracy. This is a weird time to be alive. But this is why it's important to have information. This is why it's important to have stories like this come out and for people to see the real information out there. I'm not trying to be a conspiracy channel. I'm not trying to just like spit nonsense. I don't want to just jump on the bandwagon. I don't want to say stupid stories. But I'm once again just showing you the reason people don't trust the vaccine and the reason people don't trust what's coming out of the CDC or Fauci or the news is because of stuff like this. Because you guys are hiring people that aren't vetting sources, that don't know how to get down to the bottom of stories. And also, you guys are so concerned about the federal government and its politics that you don't even come up with real stories like this. So when a story like this gets passed around, they don't even know because they don't even have sources on the ground. They can't even fact check their own people. And then you just run a story because it fits your narrative. That's all we're about in the media these days is whatever narrative it is, that fits, let's run it. People are getting tired of it. People are getting sick. I'm getting sick of it. Let me know your thoughts on this below. I just wanted to share the story because I think this needs to be pushed around everywhere because the media needs to be held accountable for lying to the American public and creating hysteria and creating a narrative that's false, especially like saying people are dying in the ICU because people are overdosing on ivermectin. And I want you to know, I have some liberal friends that listen to my show. Story is not real, so stop running it and stop thinking it. These small retractions that Rolling Stone said, Their little retraction of the story is so half-ass and just so, people will forget it. People will forget that we messed up the story. People will forget. Don't forget. Why is this drug so politicized? You know what's more politicized? What's more politicized? Answer me this. The vaccines or ivermectin? You tell me. Have a fantastic day. And as always, I'll see you on the next episode of The Derek Crochet Show.